राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं
भागवत सेवया
भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके
भगवती उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी।
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 16, Verse 20. पाधैर्न्यूनं शोचसि मैकपादम्
पादैर्न्यूनं शोचसि मैकपादम्
आत्मानं वा वृषलैर्भोक्ष्यमानम्
आत्मनां
आहोसुराधीन् हृतयज्ञभागान्
आहोसुरादीन् हृतयज्ञभागान्
प्रजा उतस्मिन्मग्वती अवर्षति
प्रजा उतस्मिन्मग्वती अवर्षति
पादैर्न्यूनं शोचसि मैकपादम्
पादैर्न्यूनं शोचसि मैकपादम्
आत्मानं वा वृषलैर्भोक्ष्यमानम्
वृषलैर्भोक्ष्यमानम्
आहोसुराधीन् हृतयज्ञभागान्
आहोसुरादीन् हृतयज्ञभागान्
प्रजा तस्मिन्मघवती अवर्षति
प्रजा तस्मिन्मघवती अवर्षति
पादैर्न्यूनं शोचसि मैकपादम्
पादैर्न्यूनं शोचसि मैकपादम्
आत्मानं वा वृषलैर्भोक्ष्यमानम्
आत्मनां वा वृषलैर्भोक्ष्यमानम्
आहोसुराधीन् हृतयज्ञभागान्
आहोसुरादीन् हृतयज्ञभागान्
प्रजा तस्मिन्मघवती अवर्षति
प्रजा तस्मिन्मघवती अवर्षति पादैर्न्यूनं शोचसि मैकपादम्
पादेन्यूनं
पादन्यूनं
शोचसि मैकपादम्
शोचमेकपादम्
आत्मानं ववृषलैर्भुक्ष्यमाणम्
आत्मानं
आत्मानं
विपावृषलैर्भोक्ष्यमाणम्
ववृषलैर्भोक्ष्यमाणम्
अहोसुराधीनृतयज्ञभागन्
आहोसुराधीन् हृदयज्ञभागान्
हृदयज्ञभागम्
प्रजा तस्मिन्मघवती अवर्षति
प्रजातस्मिन्
प्रजाहुतस्मिन्मघवति
मघवति
अवर्षति
अवर्षति पादन्यूनं शोचसि मैकपादम्
पादे न्यूनं शोचसि मैकपादम्
आत्मनं ववृषलैर्भोक्ष्यमाणम्
आत्मानं वा वृषलैर्भोक्ष्यमाणम्
आहुषुरदिन् हृतयज्ञभागन्
आहोसुराधीन् हृतयज्ञभागान्
प्रजा तस्मिन् मघवति अवर्षति
प्रजाहुतस्मिन्मघवति अवर्षति Anybody else? Translation purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanavinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Synonyms: Padhe, by 3 legs.
पादै by
Padai, by 3 legs.
Nyunam, diminished.
न्यूनं
Diminished.
Shochasi, if you are lamenting for that.
शोचसि if
So
you are
just if you are lamenting for that,
Ma, my.
my
Ekapadham, only 1 leg.
ekapadam, only 1 leg.
Atmanam, own body.
आत्मान
Atmana, own
body
body.
Va, or.
वा और
Or
Vrishalaihi, by the unlawful meat eaters.
वृषलय by the
by the
unlawful meat
unlawful meat
eaters.
eaters.
Vokshamanam, to be exploited.
भोक्ष्यमाणं
Kshamanam, to be exploited.
Aho, in sacrifice.
आहो in
In
sacrifice.
sacrifice.
Sura Adhin, the authorized demigods.
सुरा
Puradhin, the authorized demigod.
Krita Yajna, devoid of sacrificial.
हृत यज्ञ devoid of
But
sacrificial.
Bhaghan, share.
भागान
Yeah.
Praja, the living beings.
प्रजा the living beings.
Utha, increasing.
Utha
Utha,
increasing.
increasing.
Swith, weather.
Swith weather.
With
Magavati, in famine and scarcity.
Magavati in famine and scarcity.
Avarshati, because of rainlessness.
Avarshati
because of
rainless.
Translation, please repeat after me. I have lost my 3 legs and am now standing on 1 only.
I have lost
my 3 legs and am now standing on 1 only.
Are you lamenting for my state of existence?
Are you
Are you
lamenting
lamenting for my state of existence?
Or
or
are you in great anxiety because henceforward the unlawful meat eaters will exploit you?
are you in
Are
great
you in
anxiety
great anxiety because henceforth the unlawful meat eaters will exploit you?
Or
Or
are you in a sorry plight because the demigods are now bereft of their share of sacrificial offerings?
are you in a sorry
plight because the demigods are now bereft
of their
of
share
their
of
share of
sacrificial
sacrificial offerings?
Because no sacrifices are being performed at present?
because no
Because no sacrifices are being performed at present.
Or
or
are you grieving for living beings because of their sufferings due to famine and drought?
are you grieving for living
living beings because of their sufferings due to famine and drought?
Purport.
With the progress of the age of Kali, four things particularly, namely the duration of life, mercy, the power of recollection, and moral or religious principles will gradually diminish. Since dharma or the principles of religion would be lost in the proportion of 3 out of 4, the symbolic bull was standing on one leg only. When three-fourths of the population of the whole world become irreligious, the situation is converted into hell for the animals. In the age of Kali, godless civilizations will create so many so-called religious societies in which the personality of Godhead will be directly or indirectly defied, and thus faithless societies of men will make the world uninhabitable for the saner section of people. There are gradations of human beings in terms of proportionate faith in the supreme personality of Godhead. The first class faithful men are the Vaishnavas and the Brahmanas, then the Kshatriyas, then the Vaishyas, then the Shudras, then the Mlechas, the Yavanas, and at last the Chandals. The degradation of the human
The
instinct.
Chandals means they are called dog eaters. Yeah, go ahead.
The degradation of the human instinct begins from the Mlechas, and the Chandal state of life is the last word in human degradation. All the above terms mentioned in the Vedic literatures are never meant for any particular community or birth. They are different qualifications of human beings in general. There is no question of birthright or community. One can acquire the respective qualifications by one's own efforts, and thus the son of a Vaishnava can become a Malecha, or the son of a Chandal can become more than a Brahmana, all in terms of their association and intimate relation with the Supreme Lord. The meat eaters are generally called Mlechas, but all meat eaters are not Mlechas. Those who accept meat in terms of scriptural injunctions are not Mlechas, but those who accept meat without restriction are called Mlechas. Beef is forbidden in the scriptures, and the bulls and cows offered are offered special protection by followers of the Vedas. But in this age of Kali, people will exploit the body of the bull and the cow as they like, and thus they will invite sufferings of various types. The the people of this age will not perform any sacrifice. The Mlecha population will care very little for performances of sacrifices, although performance of sacrifice is essential for persons who are materially engaged in sense enjoyment. In the Bhagavad Gita 3.14 to 16, performance of sacrifices is strongly recommended. The living beings are created by the creator Brahma, and just to maintain the created living being progressively towards the path back to Godhead, the system of performing sacrifice is also created by him. The system is that living beings live on the produce of grains and vegetables, and by eating such foodstuff, they get vital power of the body in the shape of blood and semen, and from blood and semen, one living being is able to create other living beings. But the production of grains, grass, etc., becomes possible by rain, and this rain is made to shower properly by performance of recommended sacrifices. Such sacrifices are directed by the rites of the Vedas, namely Sam, Yajur, Rig, and Atharva. In the Manusmriti, it is recommended that by offerings of the sacrifice on the altar of the fire, the sun god is pleased. When the sun god is pleased, he properly collects water from the sea, and thus sufficient clouds collect on the horizon and rains fall. After sufficient rains fall, there is sufficient production of grains for men and all animals, and thus and thus there is energy in the living being for progressive activity. The Mlechas, however, make plans to install slaughterhouses for killing bulls and cows along with other animals, thinking that they will prosper by increasing the number of factories and live on animal food without caring for performance of sacrifices and production of grains. But they must know that even for the animals, they must produce grass and vegetables. Otherwise, the animals cannot live. And to produce grass for the animals, they require sufficient rains. Therefore, they have to depend ultimately on the mercy of the demigods like the sun god, Indra, and Chandra, and such demigods must be satisfied by performances of sacrifice. This material world is a sort of prison house, as we have several times mentioned. The demigods are the servants of the Lord who see to the proper upkeep of the prison house. These demigods want to see that the rebel living beings who want to survive faithlessly are gradually turned towards the supreme power of the Lord. Therefore, the system of offering sacrifice is recommended in the scriptures. The materialistic men want to work hard and enjoy fruitive results for sense enjoyment. Thus, they are committing many types of sins at every step of life. Those, however, who are consciously engaged in the devotional service of the Lord are transcendental to all varieties of sin and virtue. Their activities are free from the contamination of the three modes of material nature. For the devotees, there is no need for performance of prescribed sacrifices because the very life of the devotee is a symbol of sacrifice. But persons who are engaged in fruitive activities for sense enjoyment must perform the prescribed sacrifices because that is the only means to get free from the reaction of all sins committed by fruitive workers. Sacrifice is the means for counteracting such accumulated sins. The demigods are pleased when such sacrifices are performed, just as prison officers are satisfied when the prisoners are turned into obedient subjects. Lord Chaitanya, however, has recommended only one yagna or sacrifice called the Sankirtan Yagna, the chanting of Hare Krishna, in which everyone can take part. Thus, both devotees and the fruitive workers can derive equal benefit from the performances of Sankirtan Yagna. Sir, are you speaking on mute by mistake?
Oh, yes. Sorry. So, the very nice verse. The bull is in the form of the religion, in the form of bull is speaking to the earth in the form of cow. I have lost my 3 legs and I'm now standing on one only. Are you lamenting for the state of existence? So in the Satyuga, people were very religious. These 4 legs are actually 4 parts of religious principles. In the Dwapara Yuga, so in Satyuga, people were very religious. full, 4 parts in full. The bull were standing on 4 legs. In the Dwapara Yuga, then 1 part was missing. So only 3 legs on which it was standing. That is only 3 parts of the religious principles were, observed. Then in the Treta Yuga, Satya Treta, then Dwapara Yuga, another one is gone. So it was in 2 legs. But in the Kali Yuga, the only 1 part of religiosity, that is also diminishing now. So this is one of the symptoms. And another symptom is telling, are you in great anxiety because henceforward the unlawful meat eaters will exploit you? The unlawful meat eaters, they will eat cows and bulls. This is predicted in this verse. The Srimad Bhagavatam, it was written 5,000 years ago. So at that time itself, the prediction is there that in this age of Kali Yuga, the meat eaters will be unlawful and they will especially eat cows and bulls. So what is the unlawful and lawful? We also saw at the end of the purport in the last paragraph that how the meat eaters are not sinful if they follow the Vedic injunction. So that is lawful. Lawful means, so those who eat meat under the religious regulation, just like the lawful sex under the marriage only. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Dharma aviruddha kamo asmi, sex life which is not illicit according to the regulative principles of Vedic literature, that kind of sex life, Krishna says, I am that. So that means that is pious. That is not sinful. Illicit sex life is only sinful. But marriage, that is also one of the function of the religiosity. Just like marriage ceremony, we perform under fire sacrifice and mantras. So that is legalized. Similarly, meat eating also. First of all, the first class men, second class men, and third class men means the Brahmana, Kshatriya, and Vaishya. Vaishnavas are above all these 3 classes. So these 3 classes, they were not interested in meat eating anyway. Only the 4th class men and 5th class men, they were allowed, or they were eating meat. Nobody is allowed actually. But the 1st class, 2nd class, and they have got sense. They voluntarily give up. But the 3rd class and 4th class and 5th class men, they don't. Up to 4th class, they also abide. From the 5th class men, they are called Panchama. They are very irregular. They don't care for any rules and regulation or any Shastra, scripture. They do whatever they like, 5th class. So what is legal meat eating? Legal meat eating is that you sacrifice one animal before the goddess deity Kali, goddess Kali, and there are so many rules and regulations for that. Under the regulative principle, one was allowed to eat meat, not that maintain big slaughterhouse and purchase from the butcher shop and eat meat. That is illegal. So now sometimes even in the Christians, they say the Lord Jesus Christ sometimes ate fish, isn't that? I spoke to many Christians and they said, they quoted that, okay, Lord Christ also ate fish. Might have done so. One thing is, Christ is powerful under certain circumstances. Even if he had eaten some fish, that's not fault for him. Teji yasham na doshaya. In the Shastra says, those who are very powerful, if they sometimes do something which is prohibited for common man, that is special case. But even if you accept that Christ ate fish, therefore we shall eat meat and maintain big slaughterhouse. Although in the Bible it is clearly said, thou shalt not kill. This is not Christianity, This is against Christianity, violating the rules and regulation of Christianity. Factually, one should not kill at all. But under some pressure or under certain condition, if it is needed, that is another thing. But generally, one should not kill. So here it is mentioned that, or are you in great anxiety because henceforward the unlawful meat eaters will exploit you? So henceforward means from that time the Kali Yuga has begun. Since these 4 principles of unlawful activities, illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication is freely allowed. That is Kali Yuga. So in this age of Kali, it is very difficult for persons who are interested in self-realization to remain free from sinful activities. It's very difficult. Maya, or the influence of nature, in this age especially, it is very, very strong, and majority of people are therefore addicted to this sinful life, illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. But those who are interested in the matter of self-realization, they should voluntarily give up these sinful activities. That we take it as tapasya, though it is common sense. Then their sacrifices will be stopped. Demigods, they will not get their share. This is another thing, formerly people used to offer big sacrifices. Tons of grains, tons of ghee was being offered in the fire sacrifice, and there was no want. There was no demand. If you perform rituals according to the Vedic system, there will be no demands for anything. Just like the taxpayer, if they avoid tax paying, then this is a crude example, then the government will have no money to manage the state very nicely. One should not avoid tax paying. Similarly, as it is enjoined in the Vedic literature, Yajna Shishta Shina Shanto Muchyante Sarva Kilbishaihi. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 13. Yajnarte karmano anyatra loko ayam karma bandhana. The 9th verse in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Everyone is working very hard. That is called karma jivana. Karmis. Karmis, jnanis, yogis, and bhaktas. 4 categories, 4 classes of men. Karmis means those who are working day and night very hard for getting some material benefit so that he can enjoy sense pleasure. These are called karmis. The karmis also, not only they want to enjoy in this life, next life also they want to go to the heavenly planet. So, like that. In Egypt also, if you see, they keep the dead body. So their body will go to the heavenly planets and they will enjoy. But clearly it is a bodily concept of life. The sane man will see that the body is lying there. Well, when he has gone to the heavenly planet, if he accepts that the body is there, then something has gone to the heavenly planet. Then you will have to accept soul. Otherwise, how you can say that he has gone to heaven or somewhere, So, if you mean he means this body, the body is in the coffin. So how it has gone to heaven? Not possible. That is there in the coffin. So then you have to accept that the living entity who was within the body is not the body. He has gone to heaven. That is reasonable, right? So that means you have to accept next birth. That is proved there. So if you think that he has gone to heaven, then he may go to hell also. He may go anywhere. Because if the soul is departed from the body, now according to his karma, that is right philosophy. What? That is Vedic philosophy. Krishna says, Dehantara Prapti. Tata Dehantara Prapti. Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 13 verse. So you have to change this body as you have changed already several times. Similarly, after death, you will also get another body. So this is a fact that soul is there and soul is changing the body. And therefore, the question of hell and heaven or something else may be coming. This is sane. Not that the body is going to the heaven. No. This body, this is foolishness to think this body is going to heaven. Anyone can, any man with common sense can understand where the body has gone. It is rotting here. So yajna is required. Human life is meant for performing yajna. Karma, yajna, karma, samudbhava. So in Bhagavad Gita, it is said, in the Bhagavad Gita, it's clearly said, karma means activity. There must be activity. It is not that because we are interested in self-realization, in the elevation of the soul to the spiritual world, that does not mean we shall be idle and lazy. No. You cannot be idle and lazy, because if you become idle and lazy, you cannot even maintain your body. That is advised in Bhagavad Gita already. You have to become busy and active. That is required. Even if you want to go to heaven, then also you have to become busy and active. If you want to go back home, back to Godhead, that also will require your busyness and activity. And if you want to remain here in this material world, that also required to be busy. Activity you cannot stop anyway, but we have to consider the quality of the activity. Quality of activity is bhakti. That is a top class quality of activity. You have to work. You cannot remain inactive or lazy anyway. You have to work. So Krishna is advising in the Bhagavad Gita that work for me, that is intelligence. Yat karoshi, yat juhoshi, yat ashnashi, yat tapashyasi, kurushvatat mat atpanam. In Bhagavad Gita, 9th verse. So, 9th chapter. This is life. Yat karoshi, whatever you do. Whatever you do. Very, very, beautiful verse. It is, in 9th chapter, 27th verse. Yat karoshi yad ashnasi yad juhoshi dadasiyat yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. How simple, you see. How simple. You have to work anyway, yes, but work for me. Krishna is, canvassing to save you. Just like Arjuna was advised. He is a military man. He used to fight. His occupation is, when there is danger, he must fight. A Kshatriya. Kshatriya's business is that. So Arjuna was advised that you fight for me, not for your sense gratification. That's all, so wonderful. That kind of fight and war is not allowed. Only for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you can fight. So any field of activity need not be only Kshatriya on the, war field. If we act for Krishna, that is called yajna. Okay, yajna means to act for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the Supreme Authority. Just like a good citizen. A good citizen means who is acting exactly to the regulative laws of the state. He is good citizen. Even in ordinary driving a car, if you exactly follow the rules and regulation of traffic transaction, if you stop when there is red light, if you start when there is green light, you don't go to the left. If you follow these rules, or you don't go to the right, depending upon which country you're driving in and the regulation, then there is no question of you are being a criminal. But as soon as you do not follow, immediately you are criminal. You will get a ticket. Therefore, the regulative life means that is religious life. When you execute your occupational duty just according to the law, there are state laws and there are divine laws also. So actually, we should perform the divine laws. State law is subordinate to the divine laws. That is legal, otherwise illegal. But unfortunately, the whole state at the present moment, they are also illegal. Therefore, what about the citizen then? They are also illegal. And because both of them, government and the citizens, are illegal, these illicit means acts are being done. So many slaughterhouses are maintained with the support of the governments, and people are eating meat illegally and becoming subjected to the sinful life that is warned here in this verse. So this is very, very important. This is a symptom of Kali Yuga. We have got our practical experience, right? So when Srila Prabhupada went to New York for the first time, one boy, Prabhupada mentioned in his lecture, his name is Nelson. So he also remembered his conversation. He told Srila Prabhupada that here, even in your front, somebody is being killed and nobody will take care. So Prabhupada was surprised. How is that? Is that a fact? And the boy said, yes. So, and the devotees have confirmed it. Yes, Prabhupada, it happens. So Prabhupada was, shocked to see those and hear this. Just see. So that is already predicted in the Srimad Bhagavatam about the current race of Kali Yuga, that the moral or religious principles will gradually diminish with the progress of this age of Kali. 4 things particularly, namely duration of life. Everyone knows the actual standard of duration of life in this age is 100 years. Who is living 100 years even today? Gradually decreasing, and it will decrease so much that when at the end of Kali Yuga or in the middle of Kali Yuga even, the duration of life will be just 20 to 30 years. Now it is around, 60, 70 or 50, it's going on. But gradually it will diminish. That is stated in this particular Bhagavatam. And the memory, manda sumanda madhyo manda vakya hyupataya. So memory also reduced. Formerly, people were so sharp in memory that once heard from the spiritual master, he will remember throughout his life and can repeat without any interpretation. He will not forget it at all. There was no need of books or computer to store hard disk. Nothing was required. Okay, book is required because our memory is now low. The power of recollection is very poor. So we need computer, we need calculator, we need so many electronic devices. We think it is advancement. No, it shows our degradation of the self. Just like one who cannot memorize, he has to take note down, he has to write down, or he has to, store it in the computer. 5,000 years ago, there was no need of books at all. The students will go to the spiritual master or teacher, and that's why it's called Shruti. The Vedic language is called Shruti. Shruti means only hearing. It is not reading at all. Simply pious students will hear from the right source. Evam parampara praptam imam raja shriyo vidu. Simply by hearing, they will understand everything. Even Arjuna, he didn't note down the Bhagavad Gita instruction when Krishna said. Only he heard and he has implemented, he lived that. So they will never forget. But in the Kali Yuga, it is not possible at all. Therefore, Vyasadeva, he predicted this Kali Yuga. He foresaw these people of us. He saw us, how we are suffering due to poor memory, poor fund of knowledge. So the whole Vedic understanding, knowledge, he recorded into books. Otherwise, before that, there was no need of any books. The power of recollection will diminish in this age. And mercy also. Mercy will reduce. So, even in US, as I told you, the boy Nelson told Prabhupada, in front of you, somebody will be killed. Nobody will try to help him. What to speak of others when there is difficulty also. So there are many people should cooperate. There was a very good example of our Krishna consciousness people in Australia, Melbourne, that Srila Prabhupada has established. That was even published at that time. There was a fire in one building and they were stranded. They were crying. So our Krishna consciousness movement, Prabhupada's Krishna conscious students, the girls, they went there and saved them. Nobody came, there. Everybody was there, but nobody came. Only ISKCON devotees, the girls, they went and saved them. So therefore it is said that yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarvair gunaistatra samasate sura. Srimad Bhagavatam. If one is God conscious or Krishna conscious, then other material good qualities will automatically develop. These girls in Melbourne, those who have saved them, they were not asked by Srila Prabhupada or their president or anybody, please go and save them. No, but out of their goodwill, they went and saved them. That mentality have changed by practicing Krishna consciousness. Even the girls, they jumped from 3-story and they captured. So in the canopy to save them. And these things were published also in the newspaper, magazine, and very much appreciated by the public. So ISKCON got a very good name by that also. So the idea is that one cannot be merciful unless he is a devotee. That is the point. The so-called mercifulness showed by the philanthropists, the humanitarians, that is all false actually. They are humanitarian, but they maintain slaughterhouse. What is this humanitarian? It doesn't appeal to you that animals are being killed. So the real fact is that without becoming a devotee of Krishna or God, nobody can be qualified with good attributes. It is not possible. Therefore, Shastra says that make people devotee. Then automatically all the good qualities will come. So this is the process that Krishna consciousness movement is spreading by the mercy of Sri Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada. If we qualify ourselves as Vaishnava and devotee, then all other good qualities will automatically manifest in the body. That's the purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement. ISKCON is doing that and giving a chance to everyone to associate with such good people to imbibe the good qualities. So except this movement, there are many examples. So we have to preach this Krishna consciousness. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, if you have to, first of all, you become Krishna conscious and then you help others to become Krishna conscious. Otherwise, we will hear Bhagavatam, we will chant Hare Krishna, we will eat prasadam, and we are not preaching. Indigestion will happen over a period of a time. Eating, but not digesting. How can it is possible? So you have to also preach. And you have to also tell others to engage them in chanting Hare Krishna. Chant so that they can hear that. If they are hearing, they will become devotee. And then they will start chanting. First of all, you have to chant so that they hear. And then when they hear, then yes, they will also chant. Because these classes are going live in the YouTube. And in the future, so many people would be clicking that. And so I requested yesterday in the beginning, if I am coming late, I started at 7:30 and I'm starting, I have given the time at 7:30, I am joining at 7:45 or 8 or sometime 8:15, so that there is enough gap and you all can chant. You are all very nice devotees. So when you chant loudly together congregationally, so in future, somebody would be hearing this in the YouTube and your sound vibration would make them devotees. Everything has a purpose. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments or realization, please do share with us. 5.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
प्रभुजी इसमें दिया हुआ है.
Yes, Prabhu.
जाएगा जी. सामान्यतः मांस खाने वालों को मलेच्छ कहा जाता है, किंतु सारे मांस भक्षक मलेच्छ नहीं होते. जो लोग शास्त्रीय आदेशानुसार मांस ग्रहण करते हैं वे मलेच्छ नहीं हैं, किंतु जो बिना रोक टोक के मांस भक्षण करते हैं वे मलेच्छ हैं. और फिर नीचे है कि शास्त्रों में गोमांस वर्जित है. तो ये ऊपर कह रहा है कि मांस खाने वालों को मलेच्छ कहा जाता है, किंतु सारे मांस भक्षक मलेच्छ नहीं होते. तो शास्त्र के आदेशानुसार जो मांस ग्रहण करते हैं वे मलेच्छ नहीं है. तो ये कौन सा शास्त्र है जो मांस खाने का आदेश देता है?
वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन प्रभु, थैंक यू. ये ऋग्वेदा, यजुर्वेदा, सामवेदा, अथर्व वेदा, वो भी दिया हुआ परपोर्ट के अंदर. ये चारों वेदों में मांस खाने का तरीका बताया गया है. जिस तरह काली को अर्पण करके हफ्ते में एक दिन कई रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन के अनुसार करके खाने के लिए, वो जो है ये ब्राह्मण क्षत्रिय वैश्य शूद्रों के लिए नहीं है. जो शूद्र और उनसे भी नीचे वाले हैं उन लोगों के लिए, इसलिए उनको मिलेच्छा कहा गया. तो वो मिलेच्छा वो नहीं है जो शूद्र हैं, लेकिन वो शास्त्रों का पालन करता है. लेकिन वो कलयुग में वर्जित किया गया, क्योंकि कलयुग के अंदर कोई शास्त्रों का नियमों का पालन नहीं कर पाता है, इसलिए कलयुग में वो वर्जित कर दिया गया. इसलिए मांस मछली को कोई भी दुकान से खरीदना या कोई स्लॉटर हाउस बच्चर के से लेना, ये सब वर्जित है. उसके लिए कोई तरीका बताया गया. ऋग्वेद, साम और अथर्व चारों वेदों में तरीका बताया गया. जो उस वेदों को अच्छी तरह जानता है और फिर भी वो शूद्र है और वो वेदों के अनुसार उसका पालन करता हो, वो केवल उस मीट को खाने से मिलेच्छा नहीं कहलाता है. किंतु कलयुग के अंदर कोई धर्म को कोई अपनाता नहीं है. यहाँ पर जो है बिना भगवान का खुद ही भगवान बन के घूमने वाले हैं. तो यहाँ पर वो लोग कोई शास्त्रों को नहीं मानते, ना ही समझते हैं. और शास्त्रों को नहीं समझने की वजह से वो नहीं मानते हैं उसको, क्योंकि ये कहना उसको शर्म आता है कि मेरे को नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, इसलिए वो मानता ही नहीं. वो बिल्कुल वर्जित कर देता है और अपनी मर्जी से वो चलाते हैं, इसलिए वो मिलाच्छा कहलाता है. वो बहुत पाप होता है. तो इसलिए इस कलयुग के अंदर मांस मछली खाना बिल्कुल वर्जित है. हर एक केवल इसमें ही नहीं, शास्त्रों में ही नहीं, बल्कि क्रिश्चियनिटी में भी बताया गया कि thou shalt not kill, कभी भी किसी को कत्ल वध मत करो. और मुस्लिम का कुरान में भी बताया गया कि डोंट मेक यूर स्टमक अ बरियल ग्राउंड, अपनी पेट को कब्रिस्तान मत बनाओ. ऐसा करके उनके समझने की भाषा में हर ग्रंथ में दिया गया. लेकिन फिर भी ये लोग मानते नहीं, अपने इंद्रिय तृप्ति के लिए पाप किए जा रहे हैं. इसलिए इस कलयुग के अंदर एक्चुअली शास्त्रों के अनुसार मांस खाना भी वर्जित है, इसलिए वो दोनों दिया हुआ.
प्रभु, तो वेद 4 प्रकार के हैं, साम, यजुर, ऋग, अथर्व.
बिल्कुल
वो वेद हैं.
यस.
तो फिर और ये शास्त्रीय आदेशानुसार कह रहा है, तो फिर वेद और शास्त्र में क्या अंतर है?
बहुत अंतर है. वेद में इंद्रिय तृप्तियों का तरीका बताया गया है, धर्म अर्थ काम मोक्ष का रास्ता बताया गया है। लेकिन ये शास्त्र जो है वो वैष्णव का लिटरेचर को शास्त्र कहते हैं, और ये शास्त्र के अंदर भौतिक जीवन का नहीं बल्कि आध्यात्मिक जीवन का ज्ञान दिया गया है, और इस भौतिक बदन को किस तरह इस्तेमाल करके आध्यात्मिक तल पे हम पहुंच सकते हैं, इस युग के अंदर हमको क्या क्या भक्ति योग में भक्ति क्या करना चाहिए, कैसे करना चाहिए, ये सब शास्त्रों में, वैष्णव की शास्त्रों में लिखा हुआ, ये सब आपको वेदों में नहीं मिलेगा। और वो शास्त्र है श्रीमद् भगवत गीता और भागवतम और चैतन्य चरितामृत।
अच्छा, ये 3 शास्त्र है।
हाँ, और ये जो शास्त्र ये भी कहला गया है कि भगवत गीता जो है वो चारों वेदों का सार है। भगवत गीता, ये नहीं कि हम चारों वेदों को जो है रिजेक्ट हम नहीं कर रहे हैं, लेकिन उसका एसेंस को हम पढ़ रहे हैं, इसलिए उसको गीतोपनिषद कहा गया। सो भगवत गीता 4 वेदों का सार है, इसलिए वो शास्त्र कहते हैं। तो शास्त्र के अंदर वो 4 वेद अपने आप आ जाते हैं क्योंकि भगवत गीता आता है उसमें।
अच्छा, और ये भागवतम जो है,
हाँ, भागवत जो है भौतिक के अपरा है, मतलब ये जो है क्या बोलते हैं उसको, ट्रांसेंडेंटल, आध्यात्मिक है। भागवत जो है भौतिक नहीं है। तो भगवत गीता जो है पहला स्टेप है भौतिक से आध्यात्मिक पे पहुंचने के लिए, और भागवत जो है बिल्कुल आध्यात्मिक तल में आप एक आत्मस्वरूप की कार्य करते, भक्ति योग के बारे में विस्तार रूप में बताया गया भागवत के अंदर।
ये भागवतम शास्त्र हुआ।
हाँ, ये शास्त्रों का सार है। वेदांत सूत्र का जो कमेंट्री है व्यासदेव का, वो है श्रीमद् भागवत। वेद अंत है, वेद अंतम, अंत मतलब कंक्लूजन, तो वेद का अंत है, और उसका जो कमेंट्री है जो श्रीमद् भागवत। बहुत अच्छा सवाल था, थैंक यू,
धन्यवाद प्रभु।
5 4 3 2 1 0. Thank you very much for the association. So tomorrow we will resume our class at 7:30 in the morning. Till then, Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
जय।
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
जय।
Vaishnav pranam.
वांछा
कृपा सिंधुभ्यैव पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री गुरु महाराज की जय।
जय।
प्रेम हरे हरे।